Triple killer Levi Bellfield's ex-girlfriend Joe Collings has revealed her fears there may be thousands more victims all over the world, as cops are poised to charge him over bludgeon. Joe, 49, from Buckinghamshire, says, he was always disappearing. It's never going. There could be thousands more victims for all we know. There was one time when we went on holiday to Turkey. We were meant to go for 2 weeks but 5 days and he locked me in the hotel room and went. He came back panicked and we flew home the next day. I always wonder, who did he hurt? He obviously did something. Joe, who is mother to 2 of his children, was routinely raped, beaten and psychologically abused during her 3-year relationship with the former bouncer, who is in prison for murdering 3 women, including 13-year-old. She adds, I hope if he is charged it will bring justice to more people. They can't give him any more time than he already has, but his victims deserve that. Has destroyed so many people's lives. Joe initially met Bellfield in 1988 when she was 17, but it wasn't until some years later, in 1995, that they began dating, and another decade would pass before Bellfield's true depravity was revealed to the world, and he was jailed in 2000. Police now believe they have traced Levi's movements and vehicles as he traveled the country for wheel clamping contracts, and he was suspected of over 100 assaults when jailed for murder in 2000. While the news comes as no surprise, the idea that Levi carried out hundreds of further attacks is upsetting to Joe, from Buckinghamshire, who says she will always live with the guilt of being unable to stop him committing the heinous crime. She says, it makes me feel sick. He's destroyed so many people's lives. I will always think, could I have stopped him? But there was never enough people to. He was always disappearing while Joe had no idea the extent of his crimes while together. His behavior was often cause for concern, and Joe now fears he could even have victims in other countries. Joe says, he was always disappearing. There was one time when we went on holiday to Turkey. We were meant to go for 2 weeks but 5 days and he locked me in the hotel room and went. He came back panicked and we then flew home the next day and we were gone within 20. I couldn't question it, but I always wonder what he did. Who did he hurt? He obviously did something. Acid attack threats despite splitting from the killer in 1998. Even now Joe isn't fully free from her ex, and is forced to live in constant fear as he continues to threaten her from behind. She says, a couple of years ago, he put a hit out on me. The police heard he was making threats about an acid attack and he wanted someone to F my face up, so they came and took my DNA in case the worst came to the worst, and they would need to identify me. It's not what you want your children to hear. Worst case scenario, your mom gets done because your dad's put a hit out on her. I had to have safety alarms in my car and in my house, and had to always carry water and another liquid which I think was to neutralize acid if attacked, and I don't like to stay in one place too long for safety reasons. I wake up screaming. Joe also still suffers psychologically following the abuse she lived through, saying, our pain was his pleasure. I will always get flashbacks. Even a whiff of certain aftershaves that he used to wear can just bring it all back. My partner told me sometimes I wake him up screaming and crying, shouting stop effing hitting me, and he just holds me until I calm. I didn't even realize he's capable of anything. He's not an animal. Animals don't behave like that. They only kill to survive. They don't kill for pleasure and to cause suffering like he does. Despite her personal torment, Joe's main concern is for his victims, and she says she would be happy to come face to face with the killer again, to try and bring closure for those impacted by his. She says, I'd like to go and meet him. I want to know why. Why has he hurt and caused so many people pain? I'd love to help get justice for his victims. Prison is too good for him. Bellfield's first known victim was Milly Dowler, who went missing from Walton-upon-Thames on her way home from school in 2002. Her body was found 6 months later, dumped in a wood in Yateley Heath, in a horrific case that went unsolved for 9 years, with Bellfield eventually convicted in 2011. In 2003, Marcia McDonnell was hit over the head with a blunt instrument after she got off the bus near her home in Hampton, London, and in August 2004 French student Amélie Delagrange was found battered to death in a street in Twickenham. Joe also spoke of her anger about the news Levi and other inmates at top security Franklin Prison, Co-Durham, were set to receive the COVID vaccine ahead of millions of vulnerable. She added, he shouldn't be given the vaccine. People are dying and there are all these people desperate for it, who really need it. He doesn't deserve it. It's very wrong. Jail is too good for him. He's living the life of luxury, with TV, PlayStations and 3 meals a day provided. It's disgusting.